All right, so this is Facebook Live. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with this. I just figured I would click the button and have a little bit of fun. So feel free to log on, ask me a couple questions, but I figured I would just take advantage of this ADD and plenty of coffee that I'm having right now and answer a few questions. But yeah, I'll get the ball rolling a little bit first. Talk about an article I put out yesterday titled "Should You Work Out Every Day?" So the idea of this article was, a conversation I've had multiple times with different clients asking, I feel like I should be doing more. What should I do in the gym? And really what it comes down to is focusing more on quality in your training. Oh, a little itch there. Focusing more on quality training than necessarily continuing to add volume and add new exercises and add a new day. Really what it comes down to at the end of the day, high quality work will always triumph over lower quality work done sporadically. So taking that into context of training, say for example you have a 5-day workout program, yet all of a sudden life gets crazy, work gets crazy, and you can only make in the gym 3 days. So what happens? What days do you end up skipping? You can say it's an excuse, you can say it's, whatever, but what comes down to the end of the day is how consistently you're going to be working towards your goals. And then from there, how accurate your training is going to depict those goals. So what I mean is, say you have a body part split that you're doing 5 or 6 days a week, and every Wednesday there happens to be a meeting and you skip legs. And you skip legs for 3 weeks, then 4 weeks. What's going to happen overall to your physique and overall to your goals? There's going to be huge gaps. So really what I recommend for a lot of people is to dial their training back a bit, find what's a minimum effective dose, what's a goal that they know they will accomplish, and what can they use to, oh man, that was bad. Let me restart that. So, for example, you're following a body part split, you happen to miss a day pretty consistently every week, and all of a sudden a huge gap opens up in your training. So, although a body part split might be an excellent training program for somebody who can make training consistently a habit, it's not going to work ideally for your busy schedule. So, really where a lot of people screw up is they bite off more than they can chew. They see the perfect program and think this is going to work excellent. Instead, what they should look for is finding the program that's going to fit their schedule and how much they're willing to commit to their training, and then focus on that part. That's really my big focus on this article. I'll put a comment, or I'll post a link in the comments below. But definitely, I'm willing to open up the forum for a few questions. So just hit me up below. Man, this live video is kind of crazy. What's everybody up to this weekend? Comment, no comment? All right. Has anybody else done live video yet? I mean, this is kind of strange. All right, so quick question that actually came up on Twitter. What should I focus on if I'm trying to grow my biceps? Okay, so that's really simple. Say you have a situation. Oh, Sam Feast, you're going to party hardy? I like that. So for example, you're trying to grow your biceps. Say you're following an upper-lower split. It's going to come down to what's going to be the most effective workout or most effective exercise selection based on the time that you have. So the first thing I typically do in terms of a training plan would be to make sure I'm having a probably 3-to-1 pull to push ratio. So I'm going to incorporate a ton of rows. I'm going to flip my grip from an overhand grip to an underhand grip. That's going to put a little more tension on the biceps right away. And then I'll increase my overall volume. So volume and frequency. So instead of training, maybe arms are part of a workout once per day, I'm going to ramp it up to 2 or 3 times a week. And that's going to provide a little bit more stimulation and break down the muscle fibers a little bit more for subsequent growth. Tiago, I've used live. It's definitely strange, but thanks for sharing great content. Tiago, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Jeff, hitting up running your first 5K and going to rehearsal. Dude, so I ran a 5K once. It was awful. I mean, not saying it's going to be awful for you, but distance running is not my thing at all. But that should be good experience. I always I tell my clients to try to get out and do things that are outside their comfort zone, something different than they normally do. That's something I've been trying to do a little bit more personally. Easier said than done, but I think it's a great growth opportunity. So, Jeff, props to you for taking out the 5K. Where's the 5K? Is it anywhere special? Josh Burr, what's up, man? So, quick story on Josh Burr, who just joined. He and I went to kindergarten together in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, and all of a sudden we're in college, walking down the hall of my freshman dorm, and the same guy who was at like my kindergarten birthday party is across the hall from me, completely like not planned at all. And we hung out quite a bit in college, so that was excellent. All right, that's kind of cool. You see like the little like button, little thumb coming across. Man, this is my third cup of coffee. So I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite because about 2 weeks ago I was like, hey, I'm gonna dial back coffee so I can sleep better because I was using, skipping sleep as a crutch to more or less, or using coffee as a crutch to kind of skip out and sleep and get more work done and all that stuff. But damn, I love coffee. I don't know. Jamie, what's up, man? So my client Jamie just joined in, and he sent me an awesome front squat video the other day. He does an excellent job of consistently, taking videos and asking for feedback. And quite honestly, even as a coach, that's something I can improve on, and a lot of other people could improve on. Taking a video and looking back at your technique and saying, where can I improve, and then opening yourself up for that feedback. I started a group recently called Athletic Body Made Simple. It's really taken off, and a lot of good feedback in there. And I can't remember the exact app, but there's an app I think called BarPath, and that's going to provide some really excellent feedback in terms of your technique and if you're having any weak points or sticking points in your training. Drinking French press, excellent. That's nice. I've got a Keurig. Woohoo! All right. Jeff, that's excellent, man. So the run is going to be in Bloomington, Indiana. All right, great way to give back, man. Props to you. Big props for that. I respect that. Morales, what's up, man? Video, man. This live video is weird. Is it shaking on your end, or is that just me? I don't know. AJ, what's going on, man? AJ, you're in Chicago, right? How about this gnarly little, disgusting blonde facial hair I've going on right now? People keep telling me to grow this out so I don't look like I'm 17. But I don't know. I got a wedding coming up. I probably have to. Maybe I'll just go with a mustache if that ever fills in. What's going on, Bryce? Oh, so I just got an idea. This is how this works, right? Coffee spurs ideas, then let's hop on video and see what happens. And I kind of wonder if bourbon does the same thing. Maybe I'll try a happy hour like next week. That would be kind of fun. But before I was talking quite a bit about, should you work out every day and finding the program that's going to be right for you. And, what happens with a lot of us, and this happened a lot, early on in my, career, both, just for exercising growing up, and then in terms of building a fitness business, was the fear of missing out. I'm sure many of you, I still do this on occasion, but we have a tendency to, read and consume every bit of information that we possibly can, right? So there's a new article up, there's a new podcast up, you have 17 emails from Fit Pros, and you want to find out what's the best technique for building muscle, getting stronger, losing fat, and getting a better vertical jump. And you want to throw it all in one program because, why the hell not? I want to do all those things. I want to dunk and look good naked. Sounds fun to me. But really what ends up happening is, a program is not just the sum of exercises, right? It's not just a collection of exercises. When you put a program together, there needs to be a long-term driven goal, and you need to take quality steps that are all focused on that goal. So if you're constantly changing, the different stressors that you're putting on your body, and if you're constantly changing the exercises that you do and they're completely different, you're never going to give your body enough stress to properly adapt to the stress that you're putting it under. So you're constantly spinning your wheels, changing what you're doing, and all of a sudden, you've added 2 exercises every week that you read about in the latest magazine, and your program is a shell of itself within 3 weeks. Unless you stick with something consistently, you're not going to see that long-term progress that you're looking for. Morales, everyday stress is a factor when you work out every day. It can cause damage. That good? Excellent. I agree. Jamie, you rolled your ankle walking on the stairs? Come on, man. Dude, ankles are wicked. I actually, man, I did a round off and I hit a curb. I don't know why I was doing a round off. I think I was at a hockey game before and had a couple beers, but I did a round off and stepped on a curb like 6 months ago, and occasionally that ankle still comes in. Lesson number one, don't drink and do explosive shit. Very dumb, but I know I'll live up to that. Two, I don't know why I was doing a round off anyways, so. All right, Josh. I have some pain in my left bicep, and rotation tends to hurt through my elbow and arm when I use dumbbells on a bicep curl. Are elastic bands the only way you can do this without causing free motion pain? So I would look at a couple different things. One, I would start flipping your grip on the bicep and potentially use a hammer grip so the thumb is facing up rather than the palm up. That's going to just change the stimulation in the arm a little bit, not directly hit the bicep, but it will make the bicep bigger, which is, what we're after at the end of the day. I would also try reversing your grip and working, more reverse curls and some of those different alternatives throughout. Morales, yes, definitely. So, sending me a couple messages back and forth about, how stressful things are every single day. We tend to look at a workout without factoring all the external stressors that we have. So we don't think of stimulants are a stressor. So this caffeine I have right now, it does create a slight cortisol response in the body. If we don't get enough sleep, that's a stressor. The traffic I sat in for an hour this morning and wanted to gouge my eyes out. Thank you, Denver. That is a stressor. And, a lot of times we wear like a badge of honor to, regardless of the situation going on, regardless of the situation going on, we have to get our workouts in, and we have to lift heavy, or we have to follow the program exactly as it's written. But a smarter approach would really be to factor in, how stressed are we today? What else is going on? What days is stress a little bit lower? Because a stress response is not just training, it's everything accumulated within your life. So, one thing I did a lot with my training and some of my clients was, I found out that, specifically during football season, a lot of them tended to go out for games, and they were eating like shit, they were drinking more, on Sundays, and they would come in Monday and they would be stale. There's no way they're going to have a high quality, heavy training response. So, dial back the loading and dial back these different, parameters of your training to factor in some of the external stressors that are coming besides what's in the gym. Josh, I got you, man. I got you. Tom, what is up? Dude, Tom is the man. Tom works for Training for Warriors. We've had a couple great times together. We hung out in Boulder for the 212 conference a few weeks ago. Very, very smart guy. Tom Robertson, make sure you follow him. He is smart and he's jacked. So, that's a bonus. Do you even stress, bro? I stress, bro, but, Jason Folco, woke up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. No, I'm just kidding. Woke up feeling rocked after a speed session. Yes. Okay. So one thing that's really important here is, in terms of stress, is thinking, or stress and training. Think about your training loads, right? If you lift heavy one day, how do you generally feel the next day? Probably kind of stale. You might not sleep as well. And then trying to load up very heavy the next day, even if it's a different body part, is sometimes counterproductive. So we call this like an intensive extensive training split. So what you're going to do is you're going to tend to load most of your heavy loading all in one day or every couple days. But after each heavy day, so, say you're going to squat with a heavy 3, heavy 5 rep max, give or take. The next day, you're going to really want to dial that loading back to give the CNS a little bit more recovery time. And factor other things in there like conditioning. So if you hit a high intensity conditioning workout, the day after, a heavy squat, you're hitting actually a lot of the same muscle fibers, fast twitch muscle fibers, but there's a lot of CNS work that's involved in each case. So try to, put your heavy explosive work all in one day, or separated between, some lower impact days. Jamie, so Jamie's asking right now, is there a way to check intensity based on your heart rate? And if it's 10% higher than your nervous system stress? Yes, HRV. If anybody has any good HRV resources that they've used before. I've had a couple clients that have used it, and honestly, I haven't used it very much. But HRV can be a great way to kind of check your overall stress levels, and that can be a good way to auto-regulate your training. Tom, every day is bench day, bro. Every day is bench day and biceps day. That's kind of where I sit. All right, guys, I'm going to close this out in about a minute. If there are any last-minute questions, feel free to hit me up. I'm going to drink this coffee. But this is kind of fun. Maybe I'll do this more often, and I'll be in Austin actually next week for a mastermind, and maybe I'll try to get a couple of the guys on there, and we'll all hop on, drink bourbon, and answer questions. But all right, so I'm going to finish this up, but thank you all for being here, and I will talk to you soon. Hunter, you just joined, but join next time. All right, see you guys.